Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and a rising sign. Let me know, I was going to say check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have your wow, okay, so you've got the Tower card, right? So it doesn't always mean that everything's going tits up. Sometimes this is a moment at which an illusion that we have been under really cracks and comes, tumbling down. Now, the beauty of this is, right, or should I say, let's start with, we're going to give it a shit sandwich, right? So the challenge of this is, right, so I've given you the first bit of bread, right, which is that the tower isn't always the tower. Sometimes it is a moment of freedom or it is a really powerful realization, right? First bit of bread. Now the icky stuff. This does mean that in some way, shape or form, and it can mean that something that you thought was solid is now ready for close or release. Now, I can tell you, you might be able to pinpoint this. The reason I say this is you might be able to pinpoint what this is in your life just from this card alone, right? Now, think back over the last 6 weeks. What came up that you thought to yourself, you know what, I probably need to get rid of that. I need to end that. I need to have that conversation. I need to let this go. I need to close this down. Over the last 6 weeks, because these are weeklies after all, what came up for you in the last 6 weeks that you thought, I need to let that go. I need to shut it down. I need to stop doing it. The reason the tower's come up now is because you didn't let it go. You didn't close it down. You didn't have the hard conversation. That straight away, I know 95% of you that, if you're new to the Radiant Nation, here in the Radiant Nation, we talk about everything. For those of you that are my ride or dies, I love my ball gang, right? And I'm about it. I'm real with you. I tell you how it is. I let you know what it's at. And we kind of work through it from there. What I will say to you is, now that you know that, and I've just said all of that, something will have come up for you and you'd have thought, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. Go to that thing. Get it done. Get ahead of it so that it doesn't come crashing down around you, right? Sometimes the tower will show up when the illusion that we thought was real or that we've convinced ourselves is real, darling, comes cracks. And once you know the truth of something, you can't unknow it. You can't unring a bell, as the saying goes, right? In some of the spiritual circles. So in all of these different areas of life, there is a powerful realization this week, and to call a spade, to get onto the really heavy side of it, it is, after all, the tower. There could be a moment at which something goes very wrong this week. We really hope that's not the case, but let's see what comes up. For your actions and options, you've got the Five of Wands. This is an argument. All right, this is an argument that will come up within or in a friendship. In some way, shape or form, it's possible that you could have a falling out with somebody. Now, what's really interesting about this is it may have already shown signs of coming up before. Maybe you just ignored it. Maybe you clamped it down. Maybe I don't want to pay attention to that right now, whatever the case might be. In terms of the options that are available to you, the Five of Wands presents you with the kind of challenge that you need this week to advance yourself in some way, shape or form. This is effectively life's way of saying, I'm not going to allow you to bury your head in the sand anymore. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Seven of Wands, right? So what do we know about both of these cards? This is a card of challenge. This is a card of dispute. When you see these two together, there is some form of challenge, some form of dispute that shows up. Now, the Seven of Wands is obviously the number 7. The Tower card is number 16. 1 and 6 gives you 7. 2 sevens represents news. There's some piece of information that comes in, comes out, or comes to light via a friend or about a friend in a professional context this week that potentially really pisses you off. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. Now, the Seven of Wands in the communication sector means that you are fighting this battle. You're not just taking it lying down. No, you are not. Okay, right. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this might be where you realize that somebody that you had to work with in a group project has bad-mouthed you. And you're like, you know what, usually I just let it fly, but actually this time round, no, it's not happening. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is potentially a problem or an issue with a colleague that you know has been, maybe you've kind of just, you've ignored it because you're like, you know what, I'm just going to be the bigger person, I'm going to let it go, blah, blah, blah. And then this week it's like, no, actually, you know what, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. And for those of you that are cross-watching, let me tell you, when the bull finally does charge, you're fucked. All right, I'm just going to tell you straight up. Most of the time, Taurus is like, meh, can't be bothered with the drama. But trust me, when they are ready, they will let you know, okay? For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is where you're going to need to set a very clear boundary with either a client, with a client or some fellow business or business mentor, not mentor, like somebody that you not necessarily work for, although that can be the case. And it's possible, right? Sometimes we have to fire a client. I've said this before, like a lot of people. So I can't remember who I had this conversation with, and they were like, really? You told them that you wouldn't? You're damn right. Listen, I work for me, right? Whether my website, you can book readings and all the rest of it. I have sacked at least 3 or 4 clients over the course of my career. Straight up told them, I'm not the person for you. I wouldn't feel right taking your money, right? Whatever your business model, if you work for yourself or you own your own business, you are beholden to nobody but yourself, right? And I will say to you with this, it is possible that this week maybe you have to fire a client. It happens from time to time. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, there's something that's been brewing within your family sector for some time, and this week it will not be ignored. For your love and relations, you've got the Hanged Man. Now, for those of you that are watching this, that are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, please don't rock the boat in your relationship just because something's going on at work or with a colleague, right? Don't do that. We're not doing that, right? The Hanged Man is a card of waiting, patience, stillness. It is a re-evaluation. You've got this with the Tower card, which means maybe there's something in the relationship that you're confused about, and maybe you use that as the hook to offload all of the other stuff that's going on in the background. Not fair, not cool. Don't let your partner cop the end of something that's going on within another sphere of your life, right? Talk to them about it, absolutely. But don't offload the shit onto them, right? Now, for those of you that are single and looking, not with a week like this. There are other weeks for love. This is not one of them. For your money and materials, you've got the Knight of Wands. So your money is actually doing really well. One thing that I will say for a select few of you though, is as fast as the cash is coming in, it might also be going straight back out. So this is something that you want to be mindful of this week, because the Knight of Wands, this, first of all, this could be that you're spending money on travel. With the Tower card here, it's very possible that you could be overspending and you don't even realize it. So that's something to watch out for. And I will say it's like as fast as the money's coming in, it seems to be going out this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, because it's here with the Tower card, there's 2 things that I really want you to watch out for. Any and all extreme sports, if you're on holiday, quad biking, dirt biking, horse riding, all of that stuff, just be extra careful this week. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying be extra careful because, touch wood, this is potential accidents that could happen. And the other thing is, if you're not traveling this week and you're, in terms of your health, watch out for inflammation this week. Particularly in and around the hips and the lower back. All right, so when it comes to your home and environment, this could be maybe for a select few of you, you might have to spend some time out of the home in order to have something repaired. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. It's not the greatest week this week, but with some careful navigation and some thought, I actually think you might be able to sail through this one easier than you think. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.